Sometimes when these songs are playing, Sam Jackson is a Liberian economist. Like I've always said, that my first time hearing Sam Jackson was I was in Dananli, in the heat of the war,
the refugee camp.
When he was talking about these people have no surveillance administration, and he used a particular word that stuck in my head. He said they're a bunch of interlopers. Mr. Sam Jackson, good morning, man. It's good to see you, man.
Aposo. I mean, thank you so much. I'm so proud of the OK family. I mean, the integrity and the degree of, discipline you guys bring to this. You, Mr. J, and the rest of me, just wonderful. This is probably, the most integrity-filled institution, media institution in the country. Very, very good.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you
for the compliments.
Yeah.
We feel challenged. We feel we need to do more because a lot of people, I think, watching us. How is life? How is the family? How is everything?
Well, first of all, I'm a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2015. Okay, and then the degree of affliction was disclosed to me January 2016. So it's been exactly 10 years now. But thank God, my last test. In fact, I'm 3 months overdue for my PSA test because I've been very busy in Liberia. I came since August last year. I've been doing a lot of work in this town. The economy, is good at the very top. So there's a lot of socio-economic development, project planning, all of those things that I've been doing. So I'm very blessed that people believe in my ability and they've been hiring me to do a lot of stuff. So
that's good.
Yeah, but I'll go to South Africa next month, and everybody keep your fingers crossed and getting your hands and your knees for me, for this PSA test. But it looks like it will be okay because I don't have any symptoms, and I'm doing pretty good. So
pretty good.
Yeah.
How is the new business? I asked because I see that on your page on Facebook many times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. At 73 years old, Clara, this is not about me. I have enough small income to buy my Quaker oats in the morning, to eat my fufu, to sleep, because I live in a.
You like fufu a lot. You like swallowing.
Yeah. I inherited my family. I had my own home before, but I got divorced. So I inherited the house. My family were living there. They all moved out. So I rehabbed this house and changed the entire neighborhood, right? So I'm living in this house. I'm not paying any rent. All I have to do is recharge my LEC meter and buy my little fufu, and I can live. But I wanted to do something for the community, hire some drivers, hire some cleaners, and so my wife and I invested some money in this car service. It's called Tony's Call and Ride. $5 for most destinations. So like from Central Monrovia all the way to Nigeria House is $5. And if you're going beyond that, we just got a time, then we add it on. But it's $10 an hour.
$10 a whole hour.
$10 a whole hour. And the number to call, if you don't mind, is 0771 232323 or 0887 232323. And we have a wonderful dispatcher. You hear the voice of a young Liberian woman called Bendu passed away, and anywhere in the city you want to go, anytime you want to go, she will dispatch you there. But
is it starting well?
Oh yeah, everything you do in life, Clarence, you have to build a business, right? So I'm not going to break even for a few months, so I will continue to invest in the business, the operational expenses, right? But we are advertising heavily. And as we advertise, the demand grows. When the demand grows, the income is going to grow, and then the business is going to get bigger. That is my hope. My hope is not for me to run this thing because but the people who I employ, like the dispatcher, the chief driver, those people can take that because I travel a lot, right? So I'm not in the country a lot. So they would hopefully take that business. And I want to go into another business again, which is pastry, right? I want to do about 3 or 4 more businesses here, small businesses, just to empower my Liberian people, just to help, And when after the war, Clarence, I had an ice factory, I had a bakery, then I had a Total gas station where they say I mismanaged, but all of us lost our money there. But that's another story. But I just want to help. It's not about me anymore. It's about what I contribute to my society.
Okay, let's move on now since we don't have time. Were you ever a card-bearing member of the Coalition for Democratic Change or the Congress for... Were you a member of the CDC?
I was a member of... I'm an NPP man, okay, all through my bones.
Okay.
I'm a disciple of Charles Gange Taylor.
Okay.
But, like post-war, because we knew that the NPP, because of the war and because all of the other negatives surrounding that, so we decided to build coalitions around people that we thought that could win, and we could also contribute to the development of the country. But so I'm still NPP, and I was NPP when I supported Madame Salif, and I was NPP because of the Coalition for Democratic Change. Okay, but guess what? You'll be very surprised. Okay, the CDC I support is because I'm a progressive, and it's my great degree of populism. I believe in populism. I believe the Mount Wata, the Mount Mary. I look at places like West Point and Newtown, Zorgo, other places, that the lives of those people there hardly change from administration to administration. So my support has always been on populist causes, right? Unfortunately for the CDC and me, they got the power, and there was not a lot of emphasis placed upon creating jobs, creating income, and making life better for the people. And also there was a lot of negative propaganda against them that they did not either have the ability to counter, or they did not take the time to counter, right? Like George Weah, killing 3 boys and harvesting and having about $16 billion missing. All of those things, right? So I was looking for a fighter, okay? Somebody who will fight for my Mary and my Wata, okay? So one day, I got a call from Musa Hassan Bilate. And this is a man who, he and I, we hardly see eye to eye on a lot of philosophical issues. But he respected me enough to say, Sam, he called me Sam, and I called him Musa, okay? His mother-in-law and I go to the same church. When I do go to church, which is about every 2 or 3 years. Lady of Lebanon, but she's passed now, okay? And he called me, and he asked me to join the movement. So I said, let me think about it. So I took a few days to thought about it, and I went into this guy's background, where he came from, what he has accomplished, and all of the things that he's been pushing, Liberian economic empowerment, and what he's built Shrimex, a multi-million-dollar business. He built his net worth. Now, this is a guy that doesn't need government money. And this guy's been talking about building roads, building bridges with his own money. So I was impressed with that. So then I was called on board to be the economic strategist for him, and I'm taking it very seriously.
So you're the current economic strategist of the CMC?
Oh, absolutely.
And you're taking it seriously?
I'm taking it seriously. But he's tasked me to go into the political economy of Liberia, okay, using his vision to create, to espouse his economic policies to the people of Liberia. His first priority.
You have a huge task.
No, but we have a team. It's not just about me,
You as the team, I mean.
Oh yeah, no, but it's not but look, the vision is clear. When the vision is clear, the number one thing in that vision is creating jobs and improving the lives of the people. Clarence, look at what is going on in Liberia right now. The economy at the top.
We're coming right there. Okay, so since you jumped there, let's just go. I just wanted to know why you left the CDC. Yeah. So you're comfortable being with the CMC?
But you saw me hugging the CMC just now. But we are friends first. We respect each other first. And we have some philosophical differences in approach. Because he's more of a moderate politician, and I'm more of a radical politician. I believe in hitting the establishment very hard. He believes in engaging the establishment in terms of with the degree of moderation, right? But in terms of his vision, I support his vision. I understand his vision, and his things about empowering Liberians, economic empowerment for Liberians, which has to be the fulcrum, the base of any economic development strategy.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, let's move on. I'd like to know your thoughts. What are your views on the current economic circumstances in the country?
Look,
you sit at a very good point with an advantage of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Clarence, I do a lot of work for the transnational corporations in this country, financial institutions, and the development community. The numbers for Liberia are looking very, very good. GDP approaching 5 billion, growth rate by 5.3. And the most important thing is that our trade deficit, we used to have more imports than exports. Our trade deficit has now turned into a trade surplus. And the current account, which is the amount of money going out versus the money coming in, we have more money coming in now than money going out. The only thing that we don't have a handle on is the systemic problem of mass poverty. Mass poverty continues to be, which I call the Achilles heel of the Liberian political economy. Doing things for Man Wata, Uncle Flomo. If you look at historically, the 50s and 60s, we saw tremendous growth, economic growth. In fact, the second highest growth on the planet next to Japan. Singaporeans, Malaysians, and others came here to adopt our open door policy to attract foreign direct investments. But we had a great disparity in wealth. There was a lot of wealth inequality, where only 5% of the population were responsible for 80% of income. We have the same problem today. The same problem today. And then we also have a huge disparity in income and wealth between Liberians and our foreign partners. Okay, so we don't call the Fula people foreigners because a significant number of them are Liberians, right? Let's say maybe half and half, okay? But there are about 100,000 Fula businesses in Liberia today. There are 4,300 Lebanese-owned businesses, 300 Indian companies, 3,500 Indian employees.
You meant to say 300 Indian businesses.
Yeah, I meant to say 300, I'm sorry. 300 Indian businesses, I'm sorry, and 3,500 Indian workers. Now, let's look at the composition of GDP, right? We look at the services sector. In the services sector, who lead the services sector? The Lebanese, the Indians, the Fulas, and others, right? The hotels, the restaurants, and what have you. Look at the mining sector. There is hardly any Liberian with equity participation in ArcelorMittal, in B Mountain, in Chico, the Popolo project, in all of the major mining projects. Last year, $894.6 million worth of gold left Liberia. Not last year, 2024. 2025 figures are not available yet. But I project there will be over $1.2 billion in gold exports. You know what? You know what that has done? That has shifted in terms of our trading partner. Europe is now our largest trading partner, and our largest trading country is Switzerland. 99% of that gold is going to Switzerland. We don't have $1 in gold reserve. There is now one Swiss financial institution in this country or one Swiss company of any significance in this country. And Liberians continue to be among the 8th, 7th, or 9th poorest country, depending upon...
Why things are the way they are, especially in the mining sector? Is it because of the way our laws are? Do you think we need to make amends to the law to create some Liberian millionaires and billionaires and shareholders in some of these concession companies?
Let me be very dramatic. And I think all of you out there listening, Liberia should not grant any more mineral development agreement to a foreign company. No more.
You were right. Somebody just sent me the figure. 2024 alone, gold export, $895 million.
Yeah, 894.6.
Yeah.
Spoken rounding up.
Yeah.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Oh, so you were fact checking me?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look at the other man. I understand. I understand.
But that's my job.
No, I understand.
Go ahead.
So, no, what I'm saying to you is, we're talking about the liberalization. Let me tell my phone.
And I want us to spend some time on that. Because another time you posted, you said, from Broad Street to EAW Junction, there are these amounts of supermarkets, and Liberians do not own one.
Yeah, but let's just check on the mineral sector for like 2 minutes,
Let's
right?
go there, yeah.
Oil blocks, right? They gave away the last time by 8 oil blocks, right? To a Nigerian company with a lot of technical deficiencies that is being thrown out of most countries, and yet we gave Arthur Eze Orento Atlas Oriental, we gave him another oil block. After this guy came here in 2003, right after the war, got blocks number 11, 12, and 14, never did any serious investment in it, didn't even have any money. And he sold it to Chevron for over $200 million and kept 30%. He flipped it. You look at El Anito in 2009, 2008 December, the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy put out a request for proposal. El Anito was not even a company on December 1st. They formed it around December 15 in Anguilla, and they won the thing, but guess what they did? They flipped it to the current Sesigoa that owns the Western Cluster today. So what I'm saying, for all of you out there, like the Liberian government should now say, no more mineral development agreement class A license to any foreign-owned company. We give it to a Liberian, you go ahead, you fashion yourself, you fix yourself, you attract a international partner, and then you have equity and the wealth will stay in the country. That should be the policy of any government. No more, Clarence, should we be making others wealthy while we remain the poorest on the planet. No more should we be subjecting Manwata to the great degree of economic inequality here between her and those who just came here as our partners. We look at Tottenham Boulevard. Look at the resurgence of Tottenham Boulevard. It looks like Rodeo Drive in many places. 15 or more supermarkets from 2nd Street, Greenland, all the way to exclusive at ERW Junction. Not one Liberian-owned supermarket. Exclusive, Stop and Shop, Asma, all of those. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? And people will say, but Sam, why haven't you done that? I did it. I had a Total gas station, remember, on Tottenham Boulevard. But because of the justice system in this country, they stole me blind. I did not have access to go ahead and write that, so I lost all my money.
From where do we start?
Okay, so
in the context of using existing laws or provisions or whatever, but putting more Liberians in these things. Okay. You think from where do we start?
Okay, so you have something called the regulatory framework, right? Mm-hmm. To attract foreign direct investment. So every country has a strategy, a thrust, a strategic position to attract foreign direct investment. Some countries have no restrictions on foreign direct investment. It means that any foreigner can come to Liberia, come to the country and do any business, right? But what I found out is it was due to the state of development of the country, where any country that started in this origin always have restrictions on foreign direct investment, including Ghana today. The Ghanaian National Investment Code, you can go to page 1, I think, or page 2. In order to open a retail business in Ghana, you must bring in $300,000 and hire at least 10 Ghanaians. And then when you have Ghanaian partners in other businesses, right, you have certain tax abatements and certain emoluments that go along with that. But the idea is for your citizens to participate in equity, to be owners, because the Liberian economy came from a point of zero in 2003, 90% contraction of GDP, to now where we're producing surplus. But in that growth, Liberians have not fully participated in that growth. Oh, we made a few million, yes. But we still mass poverty for more than 90% of the population is still a problem. So, number one, I want some restrictions on foreign direct investment, more restrictions, and enforcement of the 17 businesses that
exclusively for Liberians?
Yes, in 2010. In fact, in 2010, the World Bank, IFC, and others came here when Linda Thomas Greenfield was there. They wanted to remove all restrictions, including ice cream business, water selling, all that thing there, because Linda Thomas Greenfield was telling, but what if a company a foreign company wants to do a big ice cream factory? Would you stop them? Okay? So my thing was to her, at the state of development of every country in the world, there has been a restriction. They wrote 4 pages. I wrote 25 pages to counter them. And Ellen Salif, to her credit, and she's alive, you can go ask her, she called me in. And what I did was, I contributed my service pro bono, Labron Business Association, to counter them. Go ask Sam Mitchell. Go ask Maxwell Kimaya, right? And I countered that, and we kept 17 businesses. But the thing is enforcement. The other thing is that we have to enforce our labor laws. Our labor laws.
They're good, but we're not enforcing them.
But if you granting, how do you have 3,500 Indian nationals doing? Are they doing any technical? Is this Silicon Valley here? You have Indian accountants. You have Filipino pastry sellers. You have all kinds of people doing all kinds of businesses. I mean, all kinds of things that Liberians can do. In Ghana, that will never happen because Ghanaians are given the right to employment. When you employ foreigners in a job that your people can do, what they do is you are surrendering your wealth to foreigners. Okay? You're surrendering your wealth to foreigners. You got how many? 20,000 maybe university graduates a year. I think LU graduated 5,000 the other day. You cannot be just a graduate. You must be employed. You must contribute to the economy. That is what the point. The pimping industry, for example, creates more jobs for Liberians than the mining and painting industry.
Which industry?
The pimping industry. Motorcyclists.
Motorcyclists.
Yes. There are more motorcyclists, Liberian motorcycle employed in the motorcycle industry than there are Liberians in the mining industry. You see the anomaly there? Okay? And then if you look at the organogram, if you look at the job status in all of these mining companies, look at the composition of management in terms of the top management, mostly foreigners, and technical management, mostly foreigners.
Now, let me ask you, what's stopping our state institutions from prioritizing Liberian ownership, Liberian companies? Say, for example, when the government puts a bid for construction of roads, you know, why don't we prioritize Liberian companies to win bids, to win contracts? Is it that we do not have the capacity? When we put a bid for, you know, mining, when we put up these different bids, what stopped us from making Liberian-owned companies a priority to say we cannot select a different company except Liberian companies do not have the capacity to do this work? So,
let me ask you a question. El Enito, that was a scrap company that was formed 21 days after the Western Cluster bid came out. They did not have the technical and financial. Okay? But what they did, they went and what? Acquired that. Anything you want to do is all about putting together a business model, a business case, and you can raise that money, and you can outsource the technical and financial capacity. That is the bigger mistake that we make. You give foreigners that don't have the technical and financial ability because they're white, okay, because they're non-Liberians, and then they use their whiteness and then use their foreigners to go in there and attract foreign participation to make them to do the window dressing, to make them to be able to operate in your country. But you don't do the same thing for your Liberian people.
So we're saying the same thing, Mr. Jackson. We're saying the same thing. My concern is, so what stopped our state institution? Because in other countries, government make millionaires.
Yes.
Government make its citizens millionaires.
Dangote. Yeah. Dangote, for example, you know the story with Dangote with the cement injury, where Obasanjo...
It is credited to Olusegun Obasanjo.
Obasanjo went to him and said, you will be the largest cement manufacturing in this thing.
So why don't we do that?
Because there is not the political will. There has to be the political will. It has to be it's called economic nationalism. Economic nationalism is what we don't have. Economic nationalism is what blinds us to the fact that there are 15 or more supermarkets on Tottenham Boulevard and there are no Liberian owners. The same thing that blinds us to the fact that you have all these foreign multinational mineral companies and there are no Liberian equity participation. We are not economic nationalists.
When do we get over this?
So it has to start today. So, for example, like all of the outstanding mines today, like Putu, for example, we should not give Putu to a foreign company. We should not give Timbo to a foreign company. All of the existing mines, we should not give any more All Blacks to a foreign company. Unless they have Liberian equity participation in the Liberian must be the owners. Because I wrote a book, Rich Land, Poor Country.
Poor country.
If you look at the mineral asset of this country, it's in the trillions of dollars. Hundreds of billions in iron ore asset. Then you have oil assets, potential oil assets. Then you have rare earth minerals. You have all of these, right? Then you have the forest. 40% of the Guinea forest is here. You can make this the best wood processing industry in this country. Now, my detractors were asking about Sam Jackson, but you were there before. Why you this? No, I have never been in a position in my life where I would make policy in 1980. I was only there for 10 months. And under Charles Taylor, I came in 2002 when the war was already in Monrovia. I have never had the opportunity on a peacetime to be in a government.
Were you not in the Ellen regime?
No.
Were you now one of our economic advisors?
No. I mean, I did special projects for her. For example, like Chronicle Socioeconomic Development by writing like an MDG report, and she employed me and seconded me into the UN between 2012 and 2014 to help to create what they call the Sustainable Development Goals. But that was only chronicling socioeconomic development. That was not crafting economic development policy that included economic empowerment. The only place that I have done that is in Southern Africa, in South Africa, where I went there in the mid-90s and sat down with the ANC boys and developed something called the Black Economic Empowerment Model that made billionaires and millionaires. Okay? But we can do the same thing here.
Are you willing to second yourself, provide pro bono, or even if it is beyond pro bono, are you willing to work with our government? And people think you are a hardliner, you are more political, you want to get yourself through. People think you're more political than you speak.
So here's the thing. I write a lot. Go look at my writings. Don't forget about my politics. I wrote a book, sold 5,000 copies internationally. I wrote 2 books. One, Rich Land, Poor Country, which is basically give you the origin of your poverty status. Then I wrote another book, which is the post-COVID dispensation, what to do post-COVID, which is called How a Pathogen Ruled the World. So I wrote that. I wrote your MDG reports. I write all these things. I'm on Facebook on a daily basis, educating, giving you economic data. My politics is radical because I'm angry that we are so poor and that I have so much and others have so little. That is my anger. So if I express my anger that way, it's not about me. I'm 73 years old. I'm 73 years old. I have everything that I need to live and to die. The time is coming. That's my fear, is that others will not have the great life that I'm enjoying. Okay? I want my Wata children to have the same kind of life, the same kind of education, the same kind of opportunity to be able to go to Southern Africa and bring the most beautiful woman to Liberia. I want to be able to do all those things.
Liberian economist Sam Jackson is our guest this morning. We're looking at the economy of the country. He's seeing it differently. He says we need to make more Liberian millionaires. When you were talking about political will, in what context were you talking about?
Okay, so here is the thing, right? Every mineral development agreement in this country must be what? Ratified by what?
By the legislature.
With the legislature represents who? The people, right?
People. They are the deputies.
Exactly. Okay, with oversight, right? So if our legislators don't understand, okay, and don't realize, and if some of them taking brown envelopes, and it's not me, okay, the Publica reports in 2007 with a rental deal said the legislators took bribe. And that has been the allegations against successive legislators in legislature, right? So they have to enact a law to say no more granting of mineral development agreement or all blacks to foreign-owned companies. We give it to Liberians, okay, with certain technical qualification and certain business model qualification. We give it to them and let them go bring in strategic partners. Or an international company come in, they must have a strategic local partner with at least 50% or 40%. We must have a look.
Mr. Jackson, some of these laws are done that way. I mean, the latter you spoke about.
Yeah.
There are provisions that, for example, whether it's B. Martin ArcelorMittal, they will say after 5 years of the agreement, after 10 years, you will see Liberian in the position. But sometimes it don't work.
No, but here is the thing. Let's look at the Minerals and Mining Law of Liberia, right, of 2000. I was part of the Taylor government that wrote that, right? It is clear. Section 9.22 says that the state must have up to 15% equity in every Class A license in the country. And in most of the agreements that we signed, the 66, the 64, the 66 agreement, we didn't do that. Our labor laws are very clear that Liberians must have the first opportunity for jobs. But they say the enforcement, it is the irrational lack of economic nationalism that make us to be the poorest. This will never happen in Southern Africa. This will never happen in Ghana. If you go to Ghana, the richest people in Ghana are Ghanaians. The richest in America are Americans. The richest in South Africa are South Africans. The richest in Nigeria are Nigerians. But the richest in Liberia are not Liberians.
Are not Liberians. Sam Jackson, Liberian economist. Let's go to the lines now. 0777 700-995. He's talking tough about the economy of the country, labor laws and its implementation and ratification, and the way we look at our laws to make more Liberian millionaires. 0777 700-995. Sam Jackson is here, and this is the Morning Rush. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Clarence Jackson.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you. What's your name?
My name is Matthew Eskumo, and I call from Carwell, New Georgia.
All right, Matt.
Okay, let me take this time to appreciate Mr. Jackson's studio for his splendid discussion on economic policy and all that is everything he has said. Mr. Jackson, most of our people that we claim to have money, right, that live in luxury of life. Mm-hmm. What are their investments? What are their investments? Mr. Jackson saying you go on the Tottenham Boulevard, there are supermarkets. Who are stopping Liberia who have money to invest? These are the same people that have been around power for a very long time. What is going on with this country? People go Ghana, they invest. Liberian go Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and invest. Why they can't invest here?
Okay, why they can't invest here? Let me take Representative Edward Papi Flomo. Color Green, go ahead.
Thank you, Clarence. Let me say thank you to the.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me say thanks to your studio guests there. I would like to agree with him on some issues, particularly as relate to some businesses that are owned by foreigners. Clarence, sometimes I feel very disappointed to see people who feel that they come from foreign land and come here as investors and they are selling in store and selling the least thing that you think that any Liberians could do.
Okay, Papi. These local land get us in. Go ahead. Conclude, Edward. Are you there? Oh, I'm sorry. These local calls sometimes interfere, rather. Hello. Good morning. Are you there? You're not there. We'll take this call. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Clarence.
Yeah?
My name is Wilmer Guy Joe.
Yeah, Wilmer Guy. Let's hear it.
I want to thank Mr. Jackson this morning for his explanation. It is true that many of us Liberians are poor while the country has a lot of resources and the rest of that. And I agree with him on one point. I will need to begin to create Liberians who are millionaires and billionaires. The economic makeup of our country makes it extremely difficult for us to implement the conditions that Mr. Jackson is trying to propose. Now, for example, you have Putu Mine that he says as an example. And he wants a Liberian to be able to take over Putu Mine. Parents have seen instances where I've been able to witness financing of complex mining projects in Liberia. Those are very expensive endeavors. It requires almost close to move Putu Mine to production requires nothing less than about $500 million. Now, who is the Liberian that we can entrust with that kind of project to go on the international market to go and raise money, to go and fund that project? It is difficult. We ourselves as a country do not even have
maybe
well,
like you said, the way our laws are, or probably the way some of our procedures are. But don't you think there are Liberians sitting here who've got, because Jackson's argument is that remember, some of these people have absolutely nothing. They come to this country and all they need is the clearance or whatever document, and they go use this document to bring money. Are you saying we cannot find Liberians amongst us? Yeah.
Clarence, let Mr. Jackson sit with the people in government and propose to them about 5-6 Liberians. They can form a conglomerate or a consortium, and then ask the government of Liberia to give them the right to move ahead to develop the project. So let's see if they can move forward to be able to get into the international market and raise that money.
Okay,
I know of a company. You know why the people can get money in their countries to be able to fund out the big projects across Africa? It is because the banks in their countries are willing to have the financial capacity to fund these projects. Which bank you have here locally that can be able to fund a massive mining project and put to mining? So our economic structure needs complete revamp to be able to move into the kind of economic progress that Mr. Jackson is proposing on the show this morning.
Okay, Rimoga, let's take a few calls. Brilliant point. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Clarence Jackson. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm Benedict W. Sobel of Maryland County. I'm pleased to phone in this morning. Before I can go ahead, I must admit I've been following you for a very long time, and I admire all the work you do for Liberia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Let's hear you now.
Yeah, so to the issue, Mr. Clarence, Mr. Sam Jackson is actually saying the truth. When it comes to Liberians, they are in the forefront of their economy, it's actually lacking. And our government should allow the foreigners to come and take absolute control of our economy. That is wrong. We are being enslaved in our own country. We are being used, by those foreign nationals. And it's wrong. It's wrong. Liberia should be given the right to own, key businesses, to operate key businesses in the land. So why you say actually support that idea?
Okay. Another caller. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Oh. Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay, I was trying to get on.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Lafayette Bena.
Yeah.
And I call you from a Roving resident.
Yeah.
Veteran Samuel Jackson is a Liberian economy that most of all young people are willing to resuscitate at their from. Most of the policy prescription that he brings to the disco, it is a long-lasting development plan for our country. But our people are not doing well, to be honest. On a broad basis, they will not want to allow people to even get on the job and learn on the job. They go bring a turkey, like in the case of Kevin, then they call them experts. What about they will be learning for our very Liberians?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let me read some of the comments on our page, and then we'll go back to Mr. Sam Jackson to respond to some of the concerns. Seni Dagosa, he said, I'm following from Dambala town. Okay. Joseph Kaya, he said, making millionaires will be difficult in Liberia because most of these business people are politicians. It will be difficult for government, for instance, to support an opposition business politician. Ghana and Nigeria business people are more focused on business, but in Liberia, that's not the case. How can, like the other person, Simeon Gaizon, how can Liberia have more billionaires when your government believes in foreigners and aliens than their own citizens? This is very bad. I trust Sarah, you say, Wulimoga is preconceived. Mr. Sam Jackson, let's come over to you.
So, all of this question here, it shows me, and no offense, I'm using ignorance in terms of lack of knowledge, right? It tells me that the Liberian people don't understand capitalism. And then, also, they're not realistic, because if you look at South Africa, the ANC made ANC people millionaires. In Mozambique, they made Frelimo people millionaires. If you look at Ghana, it's the NPP and the NDC boys who are millionaires. They're in business in America. The politicians have businesses. What about it? Elon Musk is the largest contributor to political campaigns of reverend politicians, Peter Thiel and other people. But so in Liberia, we have this discombobulated thing about not making politicians rich. Yes, we should do private sector, which should be like 95% of the people in the economy in the private sector. But on occasions, if the politician has the entrepreneurial spirit, as long as he's not working within the government, do not use public office to enrich yourself. But if you have a political view and you want to get rich, to advance that political view is nothing with that. The other thing is, I don't believe that my Liberian people don't know that if you have an asset, if they give you a mountain, Clarence, if they give you an oil block, there are intrinsic values to that. They're already worth money. So all you need to do is do a prospectus, which I did on Wall Street for years, right? Do a prospectus, and that's exactly what the companies did. Orioles that own Putu Iron Ore Mining Company, right? They came here with little or no money, maybe $200,000-$400,000. But when they got the asset, the exploration license, then they did something called a prospectus. Then they went to what they call venture capitalists. They went to hedge funds. Mila Brompo, you don't know about hedge funds? You don't know about venture capitalists? People with trillions of dollars sitting out there looking for a place to invest? That's what these guys do. Every single mining company here is on a stock exchange. Hummingbird is on the Toronto Stock Exchange. The ArcelorMittal is on a stock exchange. So what they do, Clarence, you get the asset, then you build a business case prospectus around it, and you do something called a pitch deck. Me like bros don't know what a pitch deck is. There's not enough money in this country to finance anything. The total, and this I'm just guessing, okay, about $1.2 billion in total banking assets out of 9 banks and 93 branches. You can't even finance a factory for $10 billion, $20 million in Liberia. So most of the funding is going to come from outside. And most of the funding is coming from outside. The funding to build Tottenham Boulevard is not coming from here. It's not coming from here. The funding to build mines in Ghana is not coming from Ghana. China was not built by money that came in from China. It came in from the Chinese diaspora that were living in Singapore, that were living in the United States. Okay? The dams and other stuff that has been built in Ethiopia is built by domestic money and international money. You should have the brain power when you get the asset. Let's do the economics school and research intrinsic value. It means that Putu has a value because it has $4.5 billion, 4.5 billion tons, okay, of JORC. JORC is a committee, it's an association that rates mineral assets. When you do your mineral development, you take it to them, they rate it, and once they say you get 4.5 billion in terms of tons, now you have an intrinsic value. Then how did Severstar, the Russian company, buy it from Orioles for hundreds of millions of dollars? And there has been not one mine, that not one single ton of iron ore has come in from Putu, but somebody bought it. Somebody bought it. Before Western Cluster, we have 1 ton of iron ore came from there. Somebody bought it. B Mountain, before one ounce of gold came from there, it was sold to M&G. That's what we have to understand. The creation of business cases. That is what is lacking in this thing. We don't understand capitalism. The foreigners understand capitalism, and they use capitalism because we are more communalistic. We are more limited in terms of how we think. Okay? A business case. The reason why we don't have a great tourism industry in this country, for example, because we still calling ourselves post-war. Post-war, 23 years after war, we still calling. How can you attract people to come to a post-war country when you use war? When you use war in your vocabulary. I'm asking you a question. So the whole branding thing, because Liberia, we should teach a course in basic capitalism in all of the universities and colleges here. That is what I'm saying, and I just want to say to you, we should not grant Putu to a foreign company. We should give it to Liberian, And then, lastly, the reason why I'm supporting Musa Hassan.
Go ahead, Mr. Jackson. Let's conclude quickly.
The reason why I'm supporting Musa Hassan Bello, he understands that. He built a business in this country, a multi-million-dollar business. And I will be advising Musa Hassan Bello when the CNC comes to power, we're not going to grant any mineral development asset or any all blacks to a foreign company that does not have substantial Liberian equity participation or 100 fully owned Liberian companies. End of conversation. And we should not grant any more, what do you call it in labor, what do you call it in English?
Permit, work permit.
Work permits to foreigners for Liberian to do just to put a ban on granting work permits to foreigners for things that Liberians can do. That's what they do in every serious country.
Mr. Jackson, I'd like to say thank you so much, Liberian economist and a ranking member of the Citizens Movement for Change, charged with the responsibility of heading a committee to look at Liberia's economy and how the governance in the context of the economic decisions will be made in the event the CMC came to power. Mr. Jackson, I'd like to say thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, man, I'm taking my usual weekend break. I'd like to say